Okay, so I am homeless and I'm living a double life. Let me kind of explain that. So I have a home and I live in it 3 days a week. My lease ends at the end of June, so I will be homeless full time. But right now, 4 days out of the week, I work at another place about an hour away from my home and I live in my car. It's a good tester run for me because I will be doing it full time. So if any of you have tips, tricks, and it's not like the glamorous like van life with heaters and showers and toilets, it is a car. I live in a car. I will be living in this car until it dies on me. But I'm trying to get out of debt. So I'm working 2 full-time jobs. One with the homeless. So I have been working with the homeless population for over 6 years. Have never really understood homelessness until now. And even now, my homelessness is glamorous to them. But I've never done this before, and I'm quite curious, like, if any of you have lived in a car, what are your tips, your tricks, all of that fun stuff, because I will be doing it full time, and I'm very excited to do it. I will make my money and then get a place eventually, but I have some goals and bills that I really want to pay off first, and with today's economy, it just doesn't seem like it's possible at this moment for me to do both. So this is what I'll be doing. I will continue to do things, update things if it's necessary, if this is even a thing for other people. But yeah, I'm curious to know.
There was a time not that long ago when living out of a van was a niche lifestyle choice, a way for free spirits to travel the country. Today, that reality has shifted into something entirely different. Across the country, working Americans, single mothers, and even retirees are moving into their sedans, U-Hauls, and minivans simply to survive. They aren't doing this for the adventure. They are doing this because the math of basic shelter no longer works. When working 2 full-time jobs isn't enough to afford a 1-bedroom apartment, the driveway becomes the only viable alternative. The housing market hasn't just failed, it has forced a massive, quiet migration right under our noses.
I'm a noob van lifer after living in a car for 3 years, and it really saddens me how many people are still commenting to this day. How many more people are commenting on my post saying I'm about to live in my car next week, I'm moving into my van in 2 months, I'm moving into my SUV, I'm moving into my minivan, whatever it may be, my vehicle, my car, my sedan. And it's like getting so much worse. And these people are not doing it because they want to. They're doing it because they have to. Even popular creators here on TikTok are moving into their cars because they can't anymore, because it's an easier alternative, because they would rather not feed the beast. They don't want to work 5 jobs for an apartment building that has 1 room. Like, it's gotten insane and out of hand.
You guys see all these cars? This is just one QT. Every one of these cars got people sleeping in them. It's somewhere in Atlanta. Every one of them got people sleeping in them.
It is getting down into the 30s tonight, and I live in a van with no working heat. And people ask me all the time, Liz, how do you stay warm? Okay, let me tell you, layers, so many layers. I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants. I'm wearing like fleece-lined leggings, sweatpants, sweatshirt, jacket, 2 pairs of socks. Insulate the van. We gotta have all the window covers up. I'm burning some candles to make it nice and cozy. I'm heating up some water to make some apple cider, little packets of that. And honestly, for me, I really feel like just making the environment super cozy makes me feel warmer personally. On top of that, I also have a little heating pad that I plug in and preheat my bed with. Also, hot hands are great.
Van lifing is one of the greatest life skills I have ever acquired. It took me an extremely long time for like this to normalize in my body and like feel like something that was natural to me. But now that it has, you're telling me I can just change my environment whenever I feel like I need a change in scenery for pretty much free. I don't have to plan to go places, that I can just pick up and go whenever the feeling moves me. That on most major roads throughout the United States, I know where to stop, that I've been to most gas stations, that I know what places that I like, that I know places to camp, that I could drive 20 hours-ish in any direction and literally not have to turn on the GPS because I know where I'm going. It is the best set of skills I've ever developed.
I live in a van in a parking lot and I don't want to travel. I don't want to find another spot. I like this parking lot. This is the best parking lot that I have ever seen. And I've traveled to a lot of parking lots. I've lived in my van full-time for 10 months, and I've had the van for 4 years, so I would just go on like part-time trips, right? This parking lot is quiet. It's hidden. There's great internet service, so I can do all the work I need to do. But I know it sounds weird that I'm living in a parking lot, that I stay in the parking lot, and that I don't want to leave the parking lot. But maybe if you were in my situation, you would understand. I like living in this parking lot more than I liked living in my old neighborhood. It's more quiet, there's less traffic, and there's a grocery store right here. I'm also making acquaintances with the people in the grocery store. They notice me, they recognize me, they're really nice to me. They know this is my van. There's a mall that's walking distance. There's lots of food. There's a Ross. So, really everything I need is right here in this parking lot.
Hey, what's up, guys? So it's like 3:30 in the morning time. Yeah, so I am living in a U-Haul truck right now. So like, seriously, as you can see, yeah, it's like a U-Haul truck. GMC, got my Cheetos right here, and you know, yeah. So, it's the stuff right here. But yeah, so I know some of you guys, you know, it's nighttime. Like I said, almost 3:30 in the morning time. And some of you guys are in similar situations. We are in a so-called recession, and I think we still are in a recession, right? Yeah. But anyway, times are tough, so, you know, to speak. And then some of you guys are struggling to pay your rent and to, you know, stay afloat, stay above the water. It's trying to drown you and whatever, but I know what that feels like.
It's Wednesday, and I'm almost out of money. I'll get paid again on Monday, but I gotta really be on a tight budget until then. So tonight I went to Meijer, and I got everything I got was $5.38. I got some of this ham, $2.71, and it smells really good. I think it's really good, high quality ham. And I picked up one of these French breads, 92 cents. And then I got some cupcakes that were $1.75. So, and I got some chips and some water left over from a few days ago. So I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna make it. Just gonna be rough until Monday. Hey, stay strong, my friends. Be resilient.
I know I'm just kind of a different breed of a person when people ask me how I am doing in my van and how the transition was. And I literally tell them, like, there's literally no issue. There wasn't really much of a transition. Like I get stuff out of totes. I really don't care. It's like a little cold sometimes, still don't care. None of the things are problematic for me. I don't feel smaller. I've actually honestly feel happier in my car than I did my apartment. I think the biggest thing that is just a little bit more awkward for me is like explaining it to people that I live in my van. Some people have like this really cool reaction where they're like, oh my gosh, good for you, like what a journey. And then other people are like, are you safe? But yeah, no, the whole idea of living out of my van is honestly just a total breeze for me. I haven't minded anything at all.
I chose to live in a U-Haul van in Florida for 10 days. So for those of you who don't know or don't really follow my page or anything, I do some side work for a company called Productions Plus, and that's with Harley Davidson. So I do like production work. Go set people up on demo rides and all kinds of stuff. I get to ride motorcycles. So the only time I've done it though, I've done it twice in Sturgis, and both times a hotel was provided. So when I got the opportunity to go to Florida to Daytona Bike Week, the one position that I've been doing more is called brand ambassador. Well, when I agreed to take the position called promo, because they already had enough brand ambassadors, I didn't know that didn't come with a hotel, which I've only worked Sturgis. Everybody gets a hotel in Sturgis. So I'm like, okay, I'll get a hotel and there's a car service and all that. Well, last minute, like Friday before I was supposed to leave on Thursday, I find out that there's no hotel and car service. And I'm like, well, what the hell? What am I going to do? I mean, I'm resilient, but I just had automatically assumed it was going to be provided. So I reached out to a couple people, and they didn't have room for me. They already had like a +1 in their room. So there was going to be no room for me there. So I thought about it for a minute. Well, I'm like, well, hell, what about a U-Haul van or a Penske van, whatever? Those U-Haul vans are $19.95 a day. So let me check on that. So I checked on it, and legit, it was $19.95 a day. There was no deposit, not like, you know, with cars, sometimes you have to pay somewhere upwards of like $300 deposit. And here are the things. I knew I wasn't going to be driving far because I was going to stay within the vicinity, only with a couple of miles, going to Planet Fitness to shower, yada, yada. Plus, so I wasn't going to be racking up the mileage because it is 49 cents a mile, but I knew I wasn't going to be racking up that many miles. So I estimated how many miles I might do, maybe 50. I went over that a little bit. I think I did like 75, but still, that's not too bad. And I knew that during the day it was going to be hot, but I'm working during the day. So I wasn't going to be in the van during the day. And then at night it was going to be cool. I'd already looked at the temperature. There was a Planet Fitness close by. I didn't need anything. They were feeding us, you know, lunch and whatever, and I could go out to eat. So I did have to like stop at the Wawa for breakfast and coffee, you know, every day. And that's not too bad. And then they fed us lunch, and then I would just get dinner. Not too bad. So I'm like, the hell, I'll pay $19.95 a day. So it ended up being, for the almost 10 days that I had it, $245 total. I slept on an air mattress. Now here's the biggest thing was, if you saw my picture, I'll put it in here. I didn't have headroom to stand up, because in my van, I mean, look at this. I'll have to show you here. Look, this is here, and I still have that much space for me to stand up. I mean, it's someone 6'4" can stand up in here with no problem. That was the only thing that was a little bit of a pain in the ass, because like getting changed was a little bit more difficult, but still I had shelter, I had my vehicle, and everything that I needed for those 10 days. So I made it work. And I still got to have a good time. So think about it. Next time you go somewhere, you might need a U-Haul, or you might, instead of camping, it was kind of like glamping. So in one suitcase, I packed my air mattress and a hammock, actually. One night I slept in a hammock, and a little side table. It's just a little foldable side table. But I had everything I needed. So, yeah, that's my story of living in a U-Haul van for 10 days at Daytona Bike Week. So I got to get ready for work, guys. Starting back. I've been off for 2 weeks now, so I don't even know if I'm going to know how to do this job anymore. But I go to Seattle tonight, and I think San Francisco tomorrow. So whatever it is, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.
So in a situation like this, it's just as important to insulate underneath you as it is on top of you, because there's no insulation on this, plus you're going to want some cushion to it. Underneath here I've got a Mexican style blanket, then I've got a memory foam mattress pad, it's like a 2.5 inch, and then I've got like a Sherpa fleece blanket that's going to go down, and then I have my down comforter that will go down over the top of that. It's starting to get dark out here. The camera's going to start fading. The bed is set up here, fits nicely. I still have lots of room here where I'll be able to do my cooking and stuff. Part of staying warm tonight is going to be the mystery heater. I've used these things for years. You guys have seen it on lots of my other videos before I got my diesel heater. Now, I'll talk more about the safety and the importance of safety when it comes to using heaters like this, especially in a confined area. So we'll get in more of that later. Right now I just want to organize stuff, get things kind of set up. Because as I always say, living in a small space, it is important to be organized. Honestly, this space for me is like living in a mansion compared to living in the small space of a Volkswagen van. That might be part of the allure to be able to do something like this evening. I've got my JetBoil so I can make some tea. I brought a bowl and a plate and some silverware. And of course the skillet. This is what we're going to cook the steak on here this evening, just over the bottle top burner. And I brought lots of propane in case it gets really cold. For breakfast, we're going to keep it simple since we're doing a U-Haul urban stealth camp. We're going to do some oatmeal squares, a bowl of cereal. I haven't had a bowl of cereal in a long time, so I figured that'd actually be pretty fun. The only access to this area in this space is this roll-up door in the back. Now, I've thought this through, and the only latch to this, there is no latch on the inside, so I can't safely lock myself inside here. So I've got a couple options for that, and I've thought that through. We'll talk about that as well. But right now, the temperature is still 45 degrees. That's not too bad. That's about 8 degrees Celsius. It is calling for a low of about 28 degrees, which is about -2 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty chilly, especially for being in an ice box like this. Hopefully the blankets do good. Hopefully we can make good use of the buddy heater. Okay. So I want to go ahead and address the concerns that I know all of you are having as soon as I pulled the buddy heater out and started it here inside the back of this U-Haul truck. And of course, anytime you've got an open flame, as well as propane, etc., in a confined space, you want to take extra precautions. I've been using the Mr. Buddy heater for a long time over the years of doing van life and fully understand the hazards and the risks that you take of running such a heater. The great thing is that Mr. Heater has been around for many years, and they rate these particular heaters as safe for indoor use. Also, inside their heater, they manufacture in a low oxygen shutoff sensor, which is very important, as well as a tip-over sensor, which is great. If you bump it and it falls over onto a blanket and you don't realize it, it'll shut off. So, of course, do we want to put our lives in the hands of an $80 heater and hope that that low oxygen sensor works? I certainly don't want to rely solely on that. So, in my van, I actually have carbon monoxide alarms set up in my van. So what I've done tonight is I actually grabbed one of those carbon monoxide alarms and brought it with to have here as a backup to the no oxygen sensor. So we've got backup. Okay, well, I know a lot of concerns are, well, what if your carbon monoxide is faulty? Of course you want to test it and make sure that the battery's good. So we've tested it, it sounded back to us. Okay, cool. I still don't trust it. So not only did I bring one alarm, but I also brought 2 alarms. This is another carbon monoxide alarm. This one actually also has a digital readout on it. So if we start seeing any sort of carbon monoxide built up in here, that is going to let us know. And of course, we're going to test it. Boom, we know that one's working. Even beyond that, I don't believe that these U-Haul trucks are any sort of airtight, but I am going to open up about maybe a ½ inch to an inch worth of space underneath the door just to get a little bit of oxygen in here, help keep it fresh and whatnot. So anyways, I wanted to address those concerns because it is very, very important for any of you out there doing any sort of camping with heater in a confined space, any of it. Just make sure and take the extra precautions and take life into your own hands and don't rely on something else. So anyways, now that we've got that covered, check this space out. This is like living in a tiny house. My Volkswagen is a fraction of the size of this. So it's pretty cool to be able to have this all set up and move about.
This is how I make sure my daughter stays safe, sleeping in a minivan. I'm a single mom living in my minivan by choice, and safety isn't optional. We only park at well-lit places like truck stops or hotel clusters. We never arrive after dark, and I always have 2 backup places saved. If it feels off, we leave. Van life isn't reckless, it's intentional.
This video is for anyone who's about to be homeless and considering living in their vehicle. I've come up with a list of tips that might help you navigate this lifestyle. My name is Alexis, and I currently live in a minivan, but I've been living in vehicles on and off for about 4 or 5 years now. My first tip is to find out where all of the local parks are. Parks are great for a number of reasons. First of all, a lot of times they have a bathroom that you're able to use. They also have water fountains where you can fill up your water. And a lot of times just being at a park and in the midst of nature can be very relaxing and give you a sense of privacy. Not to mention a lot of them have picnic tables, grills, etc. Parks are going to be your best friend. Another tip is utilize your local libraries. Libraries are going to be a great place to get out of the elements, whether you want to warm up or cool down. They are also a really great place to charge your phone or any other electronics that you need to charge. And again, they have bathrooms and also computers and other tools that you can use. It's a great place to relax and unwind. My third tip is download the app iOverlander. This is going to be an app that tells you where safe places to park are where you won't be bothered. It will also give you useful information like where you should shower, where you can find a laundromat. There's just a bunch of really good information in that app, and overall, it has made my vehicle living experience a lot easier. My next tip is to cover your windows. There are so many ways that you can cover your windows. I'm literally just using like an old rug that was given to me for free. You can use a towel, a sheet, really anything that you have. But covering your windows is definitely going to give you a sense of privacy that you absolutely need when you technically live in a fishbowl. My next tip is to buy a rechargeable fan. There are some cheap ones out there now that you don't have to get an expensive one, but when you're sleeping in a vehicle, it gets stuffy as hell in here, especially if it's not cold outside. And maybe I feel like the fan is important to me because I'm from Florida, so it's always just hot as hell. But a rechargeable fan has made living in a vehicle so much easier and so much more manageable. That little bit of airflow is really going to help you feel comfortable. And my last tip for this video is to organize and compartmentalize everything. If you're not organized, you're going to get frustrated really fast and you're going to lose everything. I still lose things in this van, and I'm super organized now. When you're living in a small space, it's very easy for things to fall through the cracks or get covered up by something. So try to put everything in a compartment. Use duffel bags. If you're in like a sedan or something small like that, use duffel bags so that they can be moldable and squishable. Organize everything in different bags or bins. It's going to save you so much stress. I guess I'll add one more, but don't be afraid to get rid of stuff. If something is not serving you, if you haven't used it in a few months, donate that shit. Get rid of it because it's just weighing you down in a small space, you know? So those are the tips I have just right off the top of my head. If someone is being thrown into this lifestyle because of homelessness, I just want to be able to help where I can because I know how hard it can be.
Here's how I stay safe while living in a van. I keep a mannequin outside to help scare people off. I also place large mail boots and construction equipment near my van. I keep tripwire nearby that can also set off an alarm. And I have security cameras set up on the outside as well as on the inside of my van. I always carry bear spray and I keep hot boiling water at all times. I also keep an SOS signal on hand just in case of an emergency. I feel most vulnerable when I'm sleeping, so in order to stay safe at night, I always make sure to tie the the seatbelts to the door so that they can't be opened. I have a fake construction banner that I tape on the outside of my van to make it seem like it's a male work vehicle. I have a small projector that plays a moving head silhouette, and I turn on a talking man audio to make it seem real. I know all of this may seem a little excessive, but it's really dangerous out there for us women, so I make sure to always take the right precautions.
And how long have you been on the road living in your converted U-Haul?
Almost 3 years.
3 years, that's quite some time.
Yes.
And you're still young, so you can't be retired yet, so how do you support yourself?
Oh, I love you. Well, I'm 69. And I am retired, but I do like to put gas in my truck, so I sell jewelry and I sell rocks and anything else that I come across at flea markets. I do little flea markets, or we have one in Columbus, New Mexico. Once a month we have a little flea market, so I get some things together and sell it there. Or if they have events in the park in Columbus, then I go down there and sell my wares. I sell jewelry, and I'm starting to sell Damsel in Defense, which is women's self-defense products.
Well, why don't we show people around while we're in here with some of the things you've done and what you've accomplished with it?
We're in the living room.
Yeah.
And now we're in the bedroom.
We're not getting much exercise.
And now we're in the movie room.
Right.
I generally, if I'm on long trips, I usually have a TV and a DVD player.
Mm-hmm.
I have a microwave and refrigerator when I'm hooked up to electricity.
Do you have solar?
I don't, but I'm going to.
Want solar?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to put a basement underneath the truck.
Right.
So I can put my batteries down there. I don't want to take up any more room in here. I've got enough stuff in here. So I'm going to have somebody the guy that made my little screen door, I'm going to have him make boxes for under there. And I'll just put the solar on the roof and the batteries underneath. And I think I'll be good to go. I've been talking to a lot of people here at RTR about the solar. And I think that's the way to go.
It is the way to go. Yeah. Free power the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
You can't pass that up.
Oh, I know. And I live in Columbus, New Mexico.
Well, it's a great home, though, and for $1,500, wow.
I probably put about $1,200 into it, including all the work I had done on the engine that I didn't have to do.
Right.
But which is really nothing for. And
it's nothing. Yeah.
And it's better than a motorhome as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't have the maintenance factor and the, I really haven't had that much trouble with it,
Yeah. And sure, you own it outright.
That's right.
You can go take it anywhere you want.
That's right.
You got a neighbor who's too noisy, you turn the key and you drive away.
Yeah. Somebody said, I said, I'm going to get another dog. I need a company for Sadie. Well, what are you going to do that for? Because I can.
Right. You don't have a landlord to ask?
I don't have to ask my landlord.
No. You're the landlord.
That's right.
Just ask yourself,
That's
is this what I want? Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, works well.
Yep, it's great.
It is.
When I tell people I live in a van, I think this is what they think of. But what I really mean when I live in a van, I mean I live in this. Oh, and there's a dog. This is what we live in. We've got tubs. We've got a bed. We've got a bed under there for the dog to lay in. And we've got water jugs. And we got a cooler. And that, my friends, that is what I mean when I say we live in a van. Hope y'all are having a beautiful day. We are almost to New Mexico, and we will see you down the road. Say down the road, Bo. Bye.
I recently got rid of everything I own, moved out of my apartment, and bought this box van from U-Haul. And I'm going to build it into my own personal off-grid RV, and I'm going to live in it. It's about 100 degrees today, so let's pull it inside and see what we got. A friend of mine owns a carpet cleaning business, and he was kind enough to let me rent space in his shop so I can build my van. I've just been staying with my mom since I got rid of my apartment, and I don't have enough room there. These are all my tools. I have a ton of tools, and I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with all of them yet. I've been an auto mechanic and a handyman all my life. I paid $12,500 for this. I bought it from U-Haul. You can get these for any price, any condition, but I went with U-Haul for two reasons. One, I got a loan from my bank for this, and the buying process was just easier. It's kind of difficult if you're trying to get something from a private party. Also, this thing has great service records. U-Haul took great care of it. It's mechanically perfect. When I inspected it and test drove it, the only things I could find wrong with it is a couple leaky power steering lines and the front tires need replaced. You can get the bigger ones with like the part that goes over the cab for even less, like $8 or $9 grand, but they have terrible gas mileage. This supposedly can get about 15 miles per gallon. I went with a box fan because I want to be able to stand up in it. The first thing I did when I looked at this is I stood up in it and I laid down in it sideways. It's got this roll-up door in the back. I'm going to remove that and build a wall with a large window that's going to go over my bed. It's got this big step bumper, which is nice, but I think I'm going to try to build something better, and I also want a little better ground clearance, and I haven't quite worked all that out yet. I'd like to put like some sort of a storage box for my bike. It's got these really nice Velvac tow mirrors. These things are awesome. They're huge. You can see everything. I love them. Here in the cab, it's got all these like dummy stickers everywhere. I'm gonna remove those. It's got this like fuel economy gauge, which is nothing more than a vacuum gauge. That's gonna do me no good. It's just gonna stress me out, so I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm going to cut out the pass-through to the cab. I'm gonna remove the seats and cut that all out, open it all up. It didn't even come with the glove box. I actually found this at the junkyard, and then I realized I need to get the piece that, latches it in place.
Will the government crack down on people living in their vehicles? In some places, it's already happening, but not the way most people think. Vehicle dwelling is regulated mostly by cities and counties, not the federal government. As housing pressure rises, many cities respond with overnight parking bans and vehicle habitation ordinances. So there's a quiet shift happening. Nomads are moving toward rural areas, public and private land, and networked communities. Groups like Nomad Syndicate are forming to share information, resources, and connection. The pressure is in the cities, but there's flexibility at the edges. In a world of uneven rules, mobility is the advantage. Nomads who adapt, move, and coordinate do far better than those who stay isolated.
Part of why I share car living content is because I think within capitalism, there's a lot of fear-mongering around the idea of losing your home, ending up homeless. I watched a young woman on here today that has 3 jobs, came home to an eviction notice on her door. She said in the post that she feels like she doesn't even want to live anymore. Like, what is the point? If my entire life is working 3 jobs just to afford a roof over my head, that is not living. Like, what am I doing here? And I know a lot of people feel this. It's like, what is the point of this? If we're not living, we're just working to have a place to sleep at night, and she can't even do that. Share this to let people know that this is an option. This shouldn't be an option, but because we exist under the system that we do, and with the way things are going, I think more people are going to choose alternative living situations. This is something that can be done with a lot of dignity and fun and adventure, and it doesn't have to be something that is feared. So if you are someone that is feeling the crushing weight of the cost of living, feeling like what's the point in living anymore, not knowing if you're going to face eviction, whatever it is, I want you to know that I see you. I know the weight that that can put on you emotionally, and mentally.
What we are witnessing isn't a social media trend. It is an emergency response to a broken economic system. You heard it directly from them. These are people working full shifts, holding down multiple jobs, yet they are forced to strategize about low oxygen sensors and sleeping in sub-freezing temperatures just to avoid the crushing weight of rent. Corporate landlords, private equity firms buying up residential real estate, and decades of stagnant wages have created a landscape where an empty U-Haul truck feels like financial freedom. When a 69-year-old retiree has to live in a box van just to afford food, the social contract has been completely ripped apart. We are watching the working class build their own lifeboats because the system designed to house them has decided they are no longer profitable to keep afloat. Have you noticed an increase in people sleeping in their cars or parking lots in your own community? How is the cost of rent reshaping your town? Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.